Hello, folks. My name is Michael Huggins. I'm coming to you live from Tennessee. We are on our meetup on Zoom. It's called our Zoom Up. Welcome. We are here sharing stories of transformation with our real estate community. I'm joined today by my co-host out of Chicago. What's up, Scott?
What's up, man? How you doing in Tennessee down there?
Man, it is a lovely
I and
day.
I envy you, man. You're probably way closer to Sasquatch than I am today.
Every once in a while, I'm out in the backyard and I think I hear something walking back there. Folks, I am so blessed and highly favored. I use this community to get out of my poverty. I was drowning in student loan debt. I was hating my jobs, and I was able to totally transform everything. Now, it did take years. It did take time. I had to learn and link arms with the people around me. But now I own 265 acres. We're doing a big land development deal. I've been able to do short sales, fix and flips, wholesaling, lease options, seller finance notes, tax liens and deeds. Man, yeah, I'm so excited and grateful. Scott, tell folks a little bit about you, and then we'll jump into our guest.
It's real simple, man. I was 38 years old, and I had experienced a letdown. I had lost a $212,000 a year gig with a company. I was in charge of 4 states and 22 buildings. When we lost it, my wife and I were like, "What are we going to do next?" And what we were going to do next was find you guys. So we met this community and started making changes right away. Today we've got we've done over 100 deals since we got started back in 07. But more importantly, I think what I love about it is the fact that I've helped over 15,000 people find this group around the country and help them get started with this group because it's a great group.
We're transforming people all over. We have an amazing track record. Now, everyone, you got to know, real estate has its own risks. And so you do have to be careful. If you don't know what you're doing, you could lose a boatload of money. And we don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that people are prospering using this process. So link arms with people, surround yourself with professionals, and get educated because the possibilities are endless. Right? There's a wave coming, and there's 3 kind of people that are going to participate in this wave. Some people are going to ride it. Some people are going to be crushed by it, and some people are going to be they're going to just totally miss it, not even have a clue.
Hear me on the beach sleeping.
Right. We want you to ride that wave with us. So after this, you're going to want to get the recordings of our previous episodes and our future live events. We have an intro, a house tour, or a workshop coming up that you're going to want to attend, especially the one on the 23rd. It's about how to do multifamily fix and flip properties. So come and check that out. Get back with the person who got you here, get those links, and we'll jump right in. Cool. Anything else, Scott?
No, let's introduce the man of the day.
All right. So I got to meet Dave, Jesus, probably 6 years, maybe 7 years ago. And he was very quiet, but now he's making a big noise. But back when I first met him, he was a little hesitant. Real estate was brand new to him, but now he's made a total shift. Him and his wife have an amazing business going on, and they're happy, growing family, really excited and impressed with what he's done over the last several years. So I'm going to have him share his story. So come on out here, Mr. Dave Clark.
Dave Clark, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Happy to be here. Coming to you from Salt Lake City. So like Michael said, it was actually 8.5 years, Michael. It's crazy how time flies when you're having fun.
Right.
But before I found this awesome community, I was stuck in a rut that I just couldn't get out of. So to give you a little backstory, going back to 2011, my wife, before I married her, she lived in Europe. She was living in Hungary for 1.5 years. She absolutely loved it over there. So she got back in the fall of 2011, and I said, man, I got to put a ring on it. I got to seal the deal there. So I asked her to marry me, and she gave me 2 conditions. She said, Dave, if I'm going to marry you, you have to bring me back to Hungary because I absolutely love it over there. And I was cool with that because I've always wanted to go to Europe. So I'm like, man, sign me up. And the second one was, if you guys have never been to Utah and gone to Lake Powell, you guys are missing out. It's the greatest place on earth. She said, you got to buy me a boat so we can go to Lake Powell when we want, with whoever we want. So I was like, man, I grew up going to Lake Powell. Man, this just gets better and better. No wonder I like you so much, right? So I said yes. She said yes. We got married December of 2011. Had an awesome honeymoon in Park City, Utah. And then guess what happened? Life set in. I had to go back to my corporate job, stuck in a call center that I absolutely hated. I commuted about 40 minutes south of where we were living at the time. And as my good friend Vivian says from Atlanta, I was broke, busted, and disgusted. I'm like, man, all these big mouth promises that I told my wife, I'm never going to live up to them. I was only making like 12 bucks an hour at the time, just feeling broke. And then I was like, maybe I just need to do my due diligence, climb that corporate ladder and see how things go for me. Then maybe I'll have the life that I want to live, where I can just take time off and travel. Well, if you've worked any W-2 job for very long, you know that they don't give you the amount of time off that you really want to have. So I was like, no, I'll just do my due diligence. Well, it was easy to see what that life would look like because I sat, the cubicle right next to me was my boss. And he was in his mid 40s. He had grown taller than his hair. He was completely bald. The dude was working that full-time job. He was working a job on the weekends full-time, and his wife was working full-time. So I said, man, Dad, if you supposedly have the life that I want, man, don't sign me up for that program because I don't want that life. And I was just stuck, feeling lost. I didn't know where to go because I never had money left over at the end of the month to really treat my wife. I mean, our idea of a fancy date was going to Wendy's and ordering off their dollar menu or whatever. That was our date on the weekends. And then my wife, she said, you know what, let's go to lunch. So she actually came to work one day. We went to lunch and she said, well, maybe I can go back and start working. And that was the other thing that I told my wife when we got married is I said, hey, hon, when we get married, I'm the sole provider. That was just how I was raised. Hey, I'm the sole provider. I do not want you to work. We want to start a family. So that's your responsibility is to raise our kids. Well, she saw how stuck I was, how depressed I was, feeling like, man, I had to commute 40 minutes and then they didn't start paying me till I actually punched in. And then once I punched out, I wasn't making any more money. I hated that life. So she said, well, I can go work. And I said, okay, we'll consider you going back to work unless we have a baby. So on my lunch break, we drove to the Walgreens, got a pregnancy test, drove back to work. She went into my bathroom, took the test, and she came out looking like a ghost. And she said, the test is positive. We're going to have a baby. I was like, okay, well, that answers that question. You're not going to work. But in the back of my mind, I was thinking, holy crap, how am I going to feed 3 mouths on 12 bucks an hour now? It's never going to happen.
There goes the boat.
So that's when, yeah, that was a big mic drop there. It's like, bam, baby coming. Don't have a choice. So that's really when I started diving more into personal development. And I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Guys, if you've not read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, go read it. It's an awesome book. And in that book, I learned that there's basically 4 ways to make a living. We can either be a W-2 employee, we can go buy ourselves a job and be self-employed like my dad was. But when he took us to Lake Powell, he wasn't making any money, but he still had to pay his employees. So going on vacation to my dad cost him money. I was like, no, I don't want to be self-employed either. And then on the right-hand side, Robert Kiyosaki says, the people that really make it in this country, that have the lifestyle they want, they have the relationships that they want to have, they've built that system in place where they can actually go and do what they want, when they want, with who they want. They have that proof that it does work. Those are the business owners. And when we really look at it, it's those that invest in real estate or hold their money in real estate. So I said, man, I got to jump out of this W-2 mindset and figure out a way to get over here on the right-hand side. Problem is I was 25 at the time. And I said, man, I don't know the first thing about real estate. But Robert Kiyosaki says, hey, go check out real estate. And that's when I started looking around, found this awesome community, guys, that you guys have now found. Do your due diligence and check it out, because I'm telling you, it's not easy. Real estate investing, the concept is easy, but implementing it, that's where it takes work. And I did not realize how difficult that concept was going to be, jumping from the employee mindset and becoming an entrepreneur mindset, completely different mindset. I had a terrible relationship with money over here because I never had money to pay my bills. So money, when it came in, it said, oh, Dave, he doesn't like money because it's just going to pay his bills. So I never had enough money coming in. I had to switch that relationship capital that I was putting in my head. So to make a long story short, signed up with this awesome community. And 3 months later, January, 8 years ago, to almost to the day, drove into work. My boss called me into his office and he said, you know what? We don't need you anymore. Laid me off. So now I've got a brand new baby, I've got a wife at home, and now I no longer have a job.
Dang.
That provider mindset that I had in my life, I'm like, bam. I felt like a complete failure as a husband and a father. So if you guys have done that, 2020, a lot of people lost their jobs. If you guys have been there, that's a fun conversation to drive home and tell your wife, hey, you know what? I don't have to go into work tomorrow. In fact, I don't have to go to work, period, because I no longer have a job. So I went from being on this high of being married, having a high of having a baby, and now all of a sudden I'm at rock bottom again. And now I'm borrowing from Aunt Visa to pay Uncle MasterCard. And I just kept getting further and further in the hole. And my confidence dropped. I didn't have any confidence to go talk to people about real estate
How long
investing.
ago was it? How long ago was this?
That was 8 years ago this month.
Okay.
Yeah.
What turned it around?
What turned it around was doing the self-development, really plugging in and figuring out what I had to do. Because I had a long ways to go. I had to get rid of all the crap that I had put in my head over the last 26 years. And it didn't come easy. Like I said, I went through a big entrepreneurial roller coaster where I'd have good months and then I'd have bad months and sink back into that hole. And I connected up through part of the community and they said, hey, we're doing a fix and flip. You can come partner with us. But what I realized is you have to figure out your strategy, because even though fix and flip, it's a sexy strategy, it may not be the strategy that works for you. Because I partnered up on that deal went south. It went nowhere. Didn't make any money on that deal. So I was like, well, fix and flips, not for me.
Okay, we got to be very clear here, because when you say, was it this group that you actually went south on?
Yeah, I partnered up with people that had done some deals and they're like, hey, let's go do a deal. Well, that goes to show that you got to know who you're partnering up with. But the problem is it wasn't my strategy. I was not good at fix and flips. I like walking through them, but not what was going to make me excited to wake up every day. Because what I really wanted was that passive income coming in. I didn't want to call a contractor and figure out how to do the deal that way. It just wasn't my strategy. So like I said, you got to figure out your strategy. But what I found is my strategy was in short-term rentals. So in the last 15 months, my wife and I, we have gone out and acquired 4 short-term rentals. Picked up our first one with $3,000 out of our pocket. Our next one was even better than that. We got that one for nothing out of our pocket. We used the money that we had saved in taxes on our first property, got an awesome tax return back, and went and picked up our second property, paid for 100% by our tax return. It was awesome. So now we're getting an infinite rate of return back on that property. So the awesome thing is I've been going through this journey for 8.5 years. If you had told me 8.5 years ago, man, it's going to take a decade before you can get out of your W-2 job, I would have raised my eyebrows a little bit. But looking back at everything that I've learned, man, I am so grateful for this community, because I would not have been able to do it without the relationships that I built in this community.
So describe like a day right now. Like, does your wife help you run the business? Does she help make postings and handle the check-in and checkouts, or what does that look like?
Totally, yeah. And that's why we love it so much, is because we can now run our business together. So my wife, she does the cleaning for 3 of our 4 rentals, and we're looking to hire that out now. But my wife has also been our interior designer. So she has designed every property that we have. So
And
she loves it now, because she's like, I have part of the business.
Nice. And how many kids do you have now?
We've got 5 little employees that help us with our rentals.
Nice. Way cool. And so what is the difference between, when you said you grew up, you had a negative relationship with money so much so that you couldn't hold on to it. How is that change? How are you breaking that pattern with the next generation?
Man, I tell my kids, hey guys, you can go out and accomplish anything you want in life as long as it's good. So I am teaching them at a very young age to say, you don't have to work a job your whole life. Go and do anything that you want. Put your mind to it. And what's great about it is I've got 4 boys and a little girl, a 3-year-old girl. My baby turns 1 this month. He'll be 1. But my 3 oldest boys, they want to be Batman, Superman, and the Flash when they grow up. So I'm like, cool, go do it. And then have real estate pay for your vigilantes at night.
Well, right on. So now looking ahead a year, where do you see yourself you're on this trend of acquiring short-term rentals. Where do you see yourself going?
Yeah, so we just listed our newest properties. We got 2 of them in December. By the end of this year, we will be at 8 short-term rental properties, which will be more than I make at my W-2 job. Right now, we average anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 a month. So we'll be double that by the end of this year.
So you replaced your original job, right? When you're making $12 an hour, that's 2,000 a month,
Yeah,
right? And now you got this
right.
business producing it while you're teaching your kids, and you're engaging more with your wife, following those promises. And is a boat in your future? Is that still a thing?
Boats very much in my future. Yeah,
Nice.
I love boating.
Cool, man.
And a trip to Hungary in the near future.
Oh yeah. Yep. I'm going to be there in September. It's going to be awesome.
You going to Hungary in September?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
What are you going to Hungary for? Just to hang out?
I'm going on a Viking river cruise, actually.
A Viking river cruise.
that,
Yeah, man. That's going to be awesome. I already got my passport.
Attaboy.
that is awesome.
Cool, man. Well, right on. Anything else you want to share with us, Dave? I really appreciate your story and your time today.
Yeah, the last thing I want to share is just that it's really what I've learned is I got in this business to start making money, but as I've been making money, that's become less important. It's those experiences that we can have and the people's lives that we can go out and influence for the better. That's what matters to me. I don't care about the money so much anymore because I've got money coming in where I know that, hey, this track that I'm on, it's going to pay for my bills. But then what? Once your bills are paid for, go out and give back to the next generation or to your local community. So that's what it's all about for me.
Nice. Way cool. All right. Well, Scott, you want to tell the folks watching what to do next?
Yeah, if for some reason you'd like to be a part of a community that's willing to help you out no matter what and stay with you. I've been doing this since 2007, and we have a saying: "You're going to give up on you before we give up on you." What you should do next, if you're watching this recording, you're not part of this community, is get back in touch with the person who invited you. There are a lot more recordings to watch, but don't ask for Candace Adams. Don't ask for her at all. You don't want to see that one. Just that's the one we asked. Don't ask for Candace Adams one. Oh, all right. Anyway, so there's 3 things you can get to. It's an inside joke now. It's gonna run forever. So Candace Adams, don't ask for her. Okay. 3 things you want to either get to an introduction so we can actually explain how we all got started. Every single person that's in this community has gone to some type of introduction to explain the function behind it, the support behind it, the kind of schedules that we keep. So get to an intro or get to a property tour. We've got lots of property tour, like Michael says, and I do agree. We got tons. We got one every week in Utah. We got one every week in Arizona. We do them every single month, sometimes a few in the same day here in Chicago. So there's hundreds of property tours you can see from students doing deals. And then, or thirdly, get to a workshop. A full day workshop with one of the instructors who have been vetted. They've been checked out. Their niche is a certain strategy that they're teaching on. You can check that out, maybe even give it a test run to see if you could learn enough in that day to go, you know what, I learned enough to maybe take action. That's why workshops are great. So a confidence builder, but that's what you should do. Get back in touch with the person who invited you. Get another recording. But don't ask for Candace Adams. Watch other ones.
There you go. Awesome. Well, Dave, thank you so much for not only taking the time today, but also supporting more and more people on their journey to real estate. I know you're a big part of our Salt Lake City office and helping new people. So appreciate your time and dedication to the process. And
hey, can we stay on the line for a second? Just pause the recording here. I want to ask him a specific question. I got a question in the chat box here that I want an answer to.
Okay, cool. All right, folks. Well, with that being said, get the next recording and we'll see on the live workshops. Have a wonderful day.
All right.